What's going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Knowledge Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be continuing our Soulmate series. And before we begin, I just want to say Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. I never really been fond of many holidays, but for some reason, I've just always had a soft spot for Valentine's Day. Maybe it's the inner poet in me or inner romantic, but it's just nice, you know? Love is in the air. Everyone's out there being sweet to one another. But it always presents the opportunity to learn. You don't need a day. You don't need someone to tell you this is the day you should do that. Okay? You should try to cultivate, generosity or just doing sweet things for your special person all the time. Alright? So, today, we'll be discussing what I like to call the best friend aspect. And that is the Sun conjunct Venus. And this is really like a combo that opens up all avenues for expression. So let's get into it. The Sun, right? The Sun is our confidence, our uniqueness, our conscious personality. Everything we're putting out there to the world in hopes of being noticed in ways to feed our ego, right? And then you have Venus. Venus is the capacity, is the agent that lets us step outside of our ego and want to care about others and spend time with others and things like that. And it basically shows how we want all our relationships to go, whether romantically or transpersonally. All right? So when these two come together, they find natural companions in one another. And the Venus person, and a large reason why this kind of works is because the Venus person is submissive to the Sun person. But understand when I say submissive, I don't mean like they let the Sun person control them. It's more so like they, it's like this. Say we have a Sun in Aries and a Venus in Aries. And Aries represents sports, so I'll go with this. And they're on a team, right? Ooh, I could use a great hypothetical for all my sports fans out there. So we got Tony Romo and Dak Prescott, right? Two quarterbacks of the Dallas Cowboys. One stepped up and is doing his thing. One is stepped up and is doing his thing. Now the other dude is looking like, man, I think he took my spot. Let's say Dak is the Aries Sun, right? And I'm gonna bring, I don't know, no sign for Romo. Let's say, and then Dez Bryant, the wide receiver, is a Venus in Aries, right? Right now, it's a controversy between, like, they're both torn. Like, I don't know, they're both good, In this instance, if Dez's Venus is in Aries, he's looking at Dak like, man, Dak, you the best quarterback. Tony's been good, but you the man. Everything, you got everything going, blah, 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 blah. I say that to say this, that the Venus person in this conjunction sees the uniqueness of the Sun person and kind of looks up to them or is inspired by them. They see their light, all right? They give the Sun person the respect that they deserve. So Aries, remember, using Aries as an example, Aries is the ego. So the Venus person is feeding the Sun person's ego. All right? So they're very much so, they trust them. They're willing to, go to war with them. So this is a large part and reason why it works. Next reason why this is such a good combo, in the terms of a romantic relationship, right? When Venus and Sun are conjunct, the Venus person understands the Sun's person's need to express their ego. And like I said, more times than not, they support that because it's a mutual understanding. A great example, and I was going to break down their synastry as an example later on, but Will Smith and Jada Smith have Sun conjunct Venus in the sign of Libra at that. And this is a great example because it shows that they have a common interest, right? Or a common thing between them, which is, the entertainment industry, and they support one another in that. But Will and Jade have been married almost 20 years now, and this really shows because, one, with it being in the sign of Libra, they need to maintain balance. So if you look at it, they're both of them aren't fighting for the spotlight. Jada does her thing and Will does his thing, but it's kind of very balanced. It's not a thing where like we're both megastars and we're both, trying to put out the most films per year. The balance in their relationship shows within this longevity, okay? And this is, and the point I'm making here with them is that, say Jada's Venus being, and mind you, it's like a 1 degree, or Will's like 2 degrees and hers is at 1. So it's a really strong understanding, but Will has a high level of fame, right? So with her Venus being conjunct to his ego, it prevents any, let's say, jealousy or non-support of his endeavors, okay? So had her Venus been, let's say, in Scorpio, and he had this level of fame and he has to do all these things, kiss other women, blah blah blah, her Venus wouldn't necessarily be able to withstand that because she would require different things. So what the sun person wants out of life or wants for themselves is kind of what the Venus person supports them and wants that in return for the relationship. Okay, so it adds a lot of support. And going with this example, being that it's good that it's the man's sun and the woman's Venus, this creates for a man. This is that man that this allows the man to take pride, really both people, but more so the man to take pride in his relationships. When this is happening in a romantic sense, you'll see that this is the type of person when you say their name, you're gonna have to say their wife's name after, because they normally have some type of relationship where you can associate one of them with each other. So this can be applied to people who run like corner stores or little businesses together, right? This is shown within this conjunction. Next point of interest for this is if it's occurring with the female sun and the male's Venus. This is pretty interesting, and more times than not it'll denote that the man is being taught a karmic lesson. And like I said, we can take this into the realm of whether it be your parent, your grandparent, your sibling or whatever. But say it's a woman's sun and a man's Venus. The man here is, like I said, submissive. He's now taking notes. He's looking up to the female, and it's really it's a karmic lesson that is being learned about taking a back seat to the other. Not being, right, because you're not the sun person. The sun person is, I don't want to say controlling it, but their light is shining. They're kind of leading it, and the Venus person allows them to do it. So when you see a couple out there and the wife is very much so vocal and she seems to like handle a lot of the things, it's possible that they have a sun conjunct Venus where her sun is leading the way. All right, but like I said, overall, this is just a great combination to have because it opens up all avenues within a relationship. Okay, it's great. It's great in the sense of, I'm gonna go back to personalizing and saying a personal relationship. This is great for longevity, like I said, because the relationship supports the person's ego. And for a lot of us, that is going to be if our ego is constantly being stroked, right, and we feel good, we become more grateful, appreciative of that person or relationship. Okay? Lastly, I'll just say this, that when the two come together, it gives a sense of harmony, and in some relationships there's just physical attraction. So when it comes to sex, right, some people really connect and they're very much so open with each other. However, they may not be able to share or feel like they can share their emotional side, right? Or they may not feel like they can share their creativity. But being that Venus represents expressing of love and connecting with others, it allows in a personal relationship to click on all cylinders. It's like you literally get the best of both worlds, or all worlds, in this combination. So as far as marriage goes, great aspect to have. The sign is going to reveal, the nature of the relationship and the things you seek to accomplish. Alright, so guys, this is my interpretation of this video. I said it wrong, but feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Fuck, what is